So when you want to start color grading, guys, you have to have a plan for it. And the planning for color grading, so like as we have seen in everybody's filming, your shots look very happy, and it's supposed to be because your cameras are trained to film everything nice and neat the way it is. So a good camera is an honest camera. It shows what you see in front of you the way it is. So that's what it is. But it doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. You can change it. You can do color grading. So for color grading, you just some people say, okay, should we add contrast or like saturation and things? It's not working like that. You need a plan. The plan for color grading is you search for a palette. So for these guys, they're doing like a horror, right? You search for a horror palette. There's plenty out there, right? So and there are sources which you can refer to for color grading. So you see that here are some really good references. And thank you. I got the video, so I'm gonna download that. So these are sort of. I think this is a rich palette I'm looking for, which is nice. It's so what we see here. So we see a plan. Let me just if I can find something nicer. I still like this. Okay. Let's start working on this palette. Let me see if I can have it. Seems I can. And let's work on this. So this palette is giving me some direction. So it says, so like each palette comes with a bunch of, this is a bit unconventional. Let me just see if I can find. There are websites that give you color palettes that just suggest you like different color palettes. The best source to start with is this color.adobe.com, and then you search for lots of harmonies. So when I teach about different harmonies, I use this because so like what you're looking for is choosing a harmony. Usually you usually use a split complementary or complementary harmony, or you can search for like a palette that is serving that purpose you're looking for. So let's say I am looking for so these are like different suggestions, right? So this is very similar to what we have here. Let's stick with that anyway. So here this palette is giving me some advice on like, so you have a group of different colors, right? And any image has three, like let's say if we categorize the values in any image, there are parts of the image, we call it the bright side. It's very easy, right? Some parts of the image are very bright, like bright sides, brightest areas. Some part of the image are the darkest areas, like the window here in the back, these like kind of car frame. Some parts are the midtones. So most of a contrasty image is an image that has a little midtone. They're mainly on the really dark or really bright. So then you come to this like palette and say, okay, you know what? I want to project. So here you see, look at the dark areas here. the dark area are not black, have a lot of these colors on it. So you project some of these palettes to the darkness. Some of it, you see, look at the brightness, like look at her face, look at her skin on the hands. You see, oh, this one has a lot of this on it. And the midtones, for the midtones, you can have some other parts projected on the midtones. So how to do this in Premiere? So we have a shot here. Let me just bring that shot inside. Make a timeline with it. Name the timeline. I usually name the timeline. Don't leave it as is. Name it, because you're gonna confuse it with the. So it's a nice shot, nice composition, and I mute it for now. But it's a happy day, right? It's not a horror look they're looking for. So what you do is you go for your effects and you search for something called Lumetri. Should wait until the effects show up. There they are, Lumetri. So there's some presets here, like cinematic, or these are like mainly to emulate films, like film stock, like Cinescape. These are like film stock from the like when the movie, the old day, each film stock was different. But what you're looking for is there any presets for the colors? Anyway, we're looking for the Lumetri itself. I like to make my where is, okay, so this one, Lumetri color correction. So you just drag and drop it, and in your FX control you see Lumetri here, and this Lumetri comes with some color vaults, as easy as that. So like that's your entire world of color grading. So you can, first of all, let's treat this image a little bit. Of course, we need, I don't know if we have vignettes somewhere. We don't have here, but I'm going to create a vignette anyhow. So what you do, like, let's have multiple layers of grading. So you can duplicate this Lumetri. Can I duplicate it here? Oh, no, cut it. Copy and paste it. Copy and paste. Can I name it? No, not. I can't. But like, let's say first one, I can just do some less saturated here. Maybe my beautiful curves, which I like very much. I tell to you why, but let me just make it simple for you. Oh, we have vignette here. So we do vignette on the last one. So the last one, we add some vignettes because your shot needs vignette, but black, not white. How can I make it white? Black. But we'll get there. Let me just turn that off. But let's do our color grading first. So first, I just want to prepare it somehow with some basic color correction, which means we want it a little bit contrasty, a little bit darker, so exposure, like, no, not the exposure. I want to have it just, okay, here is where the curves is needed. So I want to create a, like a gamma curve down. Okay, so that's just the basics. So that's the first Lumetri we created. The second one is grading. Let's do this. Let's assign like this kind of colors to the brightness, sort of like dark reddish to the brightness, sort of turquoise and bluish to the darkness, and like gray to the midtones. So these are says midtones, shadows, and highlights. Shadows goes towards like kind of look at the shadows, guys. Pay attention to the shadows. I'm gonna move towards blue for the shadows. You see that? But the highlights go towards that like kind of dark reddish. So look at the highlights, go towards that. And midtones, actually for the midtones, we want it to be dark and towards, let's review at midtones, towards like turquoise again, but in a very toned down way. I need a dark vignette, basic color correction. How can I make that vignette dark? Active. We have to have a way around it. So what they add a layer on top, right?
I think they did, yeah.
So they add one layer on top, like color. Anyway, so we can carry on and adding that Lumetri color more and more. So like have multiple layers of it. You can work on some specific part of the image. For example, I can create this mask, right? Actually, I'm going to make a fake Lumetri, or a manual Lumetri, let's say this way. So this is a mask. This mask can have a little bit of like kind of this feathering, right? And you can do some, like, let's say I'm going to make this area super dark and invert my mask. Oh yeah, that's what I was looking for. Okay, so let's look at this. This was what we had, and this was what we achieved through like some process. So this looks more depressed and like kind of more kind of guided. I think we have massive amount of red here, so we might have chosen a color palette which has red in it. Maybe something like substantial red in it. This could be a good one. So like you see heaps of green on the black. For the brightness we have a bit of creamy. So you see that this one, like, except the, so you see that for that one, if I look at my color curves, so the saturation on the bright side is low actually. So here this red is too much to me. So I can start working on it. So like with a little bit of less saturation on that. But the point is I'm losing the saturation on the So I want to lose saturation on red, but not the rest. A good question. Yes, we can. I know how to do it in DaVinci, but I don't know how to do it here. But we'll figure that out. So what I can work on now, creative, there should be somewhere with or let's yes, that's what I wanted to do. So whenever I don't know what to do, I always find curves because curves are beautiful, gorgeous, and they're like guiding us through. So what I want to do, like, so do you guys remember the curves discussion? Like here are the dark areas. So I want to have red remain in the dark areas. But I want to take away red from bright areas somehow and cut it, some of the red from the bright areas. This is what I was looking for. So his shirt is nice, that is red, but it's just too punchy. So I just like take away some of that punch. And also maybe I just lower this down in general. Okay. I think I'm sort of happier now. So with multiple levels of study and like kind of analyzing from this image, we did some basic. So let's go through them step by step. Some basic color grading, which just make things darker and contrastier. Distribution. We have a palette. Say, okay, let's distribute. Like let's move the palette towards, like we have these color wheels, like how we have to treat shadows, how we have to treat midtones and highlights. Treat it based on your reference. Vignette if you need. You don't need it everywhere, so you just need it where it's needed. And some secondary adjustments here, like one last note was that red is just too punchy. You can work with curves. So I stop recording now.